Hello guys, hope you're doing well. This is TJ and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast, and welcome to my review of New Japan Strong. And this week's New Japan Strong was a very good episode, and we've been expecting a very big main event. That's Karl Fredricks versus Filthy Tom Lawlor for the Strong Openweight Championship of Tom Lawlor's second defense after Chris Dickinson. So this was a very great episode, and we actually get into the first match, which was Freddie Ahai and Wheeler Yuta and the Ring of Honor guys. This is the DKC and Kevin Knight, the New Japan LA Dojo guys, and this was a great match. And Knight and DKC actually worked well first on Freddie and Wheeler Yuta, but a lot of offense was there. DKC and Knight actually were actually having offenses on Yehai and Kevin Knight. Yehai and Wheeler Yuta, and Yehai actually eventually picked the DKC up his throat and slammed him. That was and some working of impressive arm lock transitions, and then we saw Knight actually tagged in, and two young lions actually worked over Yehai with punches and kicks and slams. So very great, and eventually hitting a double shoulder block, and Yehai actually tagged in Yuta, and Yuta hit a coffin drop and some kicks for a one count. So this match actually was divided kind of in a two part kind of, and Freddie Wheeler Yuta was also was firstly actually was didn't have an offense or that much on DKC and Kevin Knight, and but as we were progressing through the match, DKC and Kevin Knight where Kevin Knight was being worked by Wheeler Yuta and Freddie. They were having a great cohesion tag team, great cohesion, and they were actually controlling Kevin Knight to not get the tag to DKC. So that was a good strategy, a tag team strategy that actually so a nice strategy by Freddie and Wheeler Yuta. And we know Freddie was so impressive, and Wheeler Yuta is also very impressive, and he was good here. And in the end, we saw DKC and Yehai tagged in, and two went after each other. DKC hit a kick and a chop before going to an arm submission. Yehai tried to roll DKC up, but DKC actually had a submission, and yeah, made it to the ropes for a break. And DKC continued to go wild and tagged in Knight, and two hit a splash and a kick on Yehai, and then went for a pin. But Yuta then broke it up, and at the end we saw the two traded Yuta then hit a slam and tagged in Knight, and two traded roll-ups, but Knight went for a splash, and Yuta actually moved on and get the roll-up for the win. So it was a roll-up victory, but it was nonetheless a very good fun match, very good well-worked match. The cohesion of DKC and Kevin, and especially Freddie and Wheeler Yuta is so great, and I'm happy to see Freddie and Wheeler Yuta in New Japan Strong, and they are. I hope to see them. I have to see them in. I think they are in Tag Team Turbulence. This tournament that's happening, the tag team tournament that's happening next month, and July 16th, from July 14th or something, I think so. So yeah, so that was this match, and it's very fun match. And Freddie Wheeler Yuta defeated DKC and Kevin Knight, and very solid match, a very good match. And we get to the second match, which was Rocky Romero versus Clark Connors. A very good match, man. I mean, nothing to say about the two worked very slow match. And Rocky Romero, Clark Connors, we know that Clark Connors is so good, and he just was graduated for some weeks now, graduated from LA Dojo, and he had this new theme, new music. Rocky Romero has an experience advantage for more than 10 years, for more than 10 to 15 years. So he was also, so Rocky Romero was being actually was controlled by Clark Connors, and Clark Connors with his submission maneuvers, his headlock, his grappling technique, his submission style wrestling, it was getting and Romero actually Clark Connors actually insisted Rocky Romero to hit the kick on the thighs, because it's his patented kick, Rocky Romero's patented kick, that actually is dangerous. So he was gaining confidence, and was wanted to have the best competition that Rocky Romero has. So Rocky Romero finally actually got his upper hand on Clark Connors, as he was at a clothesline, and he was actually hit a back elbow as well. Romero fought actually back with kicks and all, and he actually took his legs to the extreme, and he actually damaged his legs. And Romero actually draped the corners over the second rope and hit a drop kick to the top rope for a 2 count. And in the end, we saw. In the ending time, we saw Romero hit a springboard spinning DDT for a 2 count. Romero then went to second rope, and this was all Romero. Hit a knee to Connor's elbow, hit a series of kicks, went for a power slam, but Romero stopped and used head scissors to take Connors to the outside. Back in the ring, Romero landed a slam for 2 count, and in the end, the two traded chops and blows back on their feet. And Romero hit some kicks, but then was speared by Connors, a brutal spear, one of my very favorite spear by Clark Connors. There are a lot of spear guys, and Clark Connors is one of my favorite. Certainly, like Roman Reigns said, they are my favorite. So that like a Rhino, and just like Clark Connors, spears is so brutal and so nasty, man. And was speared by Connors, and Connors hit his power slam to get the win, and that was kind of surprising, but not a very surprising. But Clark Connors, with very much hard work that was been doing for so many years, finally got the victory on Rocky Romero. And he had his post-match promo where he actually said how much he lost against Rocky Romero and finally got the victory. A very good successive and motivational promo post-match promo. So Rocky Romero was kind of having the slow matchup while Clark Connors was speeding up. So that was a story, and he actually Clark Connors actually. Clark excelled, and he actually defeated the experienced Rocky Romero. So that was a very great story, a very great match. I loved this match, and we get to the main event, and this was for the Strong Openweight Championship, and this was between Tom Lawlor, Karl Fredericks. And the story, we also saw a video package before this match. The story of this match is that Karl Fredericks actually eliminated Tom Lawlor in the 8-man tag elimination match, so that actually made this match. So there was a kind of a stipulation, kind of, you can say, that Karl Fredericks, if whoever actually eliminates Tom Lawlor from this elimination tag match, he would be getting the opportunity after Chris Dickinson, obviously, because that time Chris Dickinson didn't have the defense. So Tom Lawlor versus Karl Fredericks, this was a very good match, man. Tom Lawlor was as kind of his experience and all, and they actually have introduced that he's an MMA guy, he's a wrestling guy who actually go to MMA and then back to MMA, came back to wrestling as well, just like Minoru Suzuki did, and he came back to wrestling after MMA, after doing MMA. Karl Fredericks is a new guy, but he has a ton of experience as well. But Tom Lawlor was a striker here, more submission based wrestler, and Tom Lawlor was actually targeting his leg at the first time, and Karl Fredericks was escaping because he knows that Tom Lawlor is very dangerous in that kind of submission kind of maneuvers. And Karl Fredericks also was getting his speed advantage, and Tom Lawlor also was kind of afraid in this story that if he got the speed advantage, he would be in the bad situation. So he actually took a time and had a strategy planned out with JR Kratos. So it was a slow, methodic match, but the story they told was a very good, and I loved this match. And both actually Karl Fredericks actually worked Lawlor, and Lawlor actually worked Karl Fredericks excel, and Lawlor was hitting lots of knee strikes on the midsection to take control. Fredericks actually had his bad point where Tom Lawlor actually was standing in the corner, and he was running. Karl Fredericks was running, and that inexperience advantage did matter for Karl Fredericks, as Karl Fredericks took up and over, and he actually fall down from the top of the rope onto the ringside, and that actually created a very big damage to his back, to his chest, to his arm as well, because he was working out his arm as well. We also saw Fredericks went for a splash in the corner, but Lawlor back body drop. That was the moment, as I said, and Lawlor rolled inside in the ring to break the count, and then ran back outside to close in. A very great close line, a very good story right there to have a more damage on Fredericks over the barricade. And we also saw Lawlor then landing chops and kicks. Lawlor got Fredericks to his knees, and Lawlor then got a series of hard kicks to Fredericks' back. So this was all Lawlor then, and Tom Lawlor was controlling Karl Fredericks, and it was a very limited chance for Lawlor then for Fredericks then to retain to have his taste the championship, to have a new championship. So I was actually confirmed that this is going not going to be Karl Fredricks, and Fredricks caught him and had a fired up moment. Fighting spirit was there. Fredricks went for a spine buster ball, but Lawlor had a choke and made it to the rope for a break. And then we also saw Pele kick, that was a comeback for Karl Fredericks finally, and he had his clothesline. And Lawlor also worked Fredericks' leg and ankle, chops and forearms. So it was entertaining match. It was getting at the end, it was getting some kind of in a fast-paced manner. Very not very fast-paced, but it was getting fast-paced. So in the end, we saw Fredericks hit a splash in the corner and went for a series of forearms. Fredericks then landed a drop kick on Lawlor. So it was all Fredericks coming back, and his comeback was strong. But Lawlor get a 2 count and two actually traded blows in the middle of the ring. Fredericks landed an STF and looked like Lawlor had no way out, but Lawlor pulled the hair to reverse it, and ref actually sees it and not to pull the ropes, he says, and pull the hair, he says, and Fredericks worked his way out and hit the manifest destiny. But it was very obvious that they did that moment, because it was close to the ropes. So before that they had the STF, so it was also the close to the rope. So same position was same region they did. The Fredricks actually pulled over the manifest destiny. So that was kind of obvious that Lawlor is gonna make his actually foot on the rope at last second, and Lawlor then drove Fredericks to the corner, placed him on the top rope, and hit a very nasty DDT from the top, and before going for a superplex second rope, and Lawlor then hit the PK. So the ending could have been a kind of dragged on. I know it's a 1 hour show, but kind of a 1 minute, 2 minutes extra would have not have been harmed this match, because at the ending should have been like, as I think that would be like, this was a very great ending, but he actually took the books or took the move from the Katsuri Shibata's book. So Katsuri Shibata is actually trained Karl Fredricks. So Tom Lawlor actually took the notes from his books. So actually, so that was a kind of that he didn't get he actually worked out all the strategy, but he didn't get the victory. He was not getting the victory. So he finally used the Katsuri Shibata's move, and that's a PK, and that could have been dragged down, like having Lawlor trying for something, having his finisher, and he kicking out again, having a baby face, and then getting the PK, and that would be a very good story, like one more near fall or something, and then getting the victory for Tom Lawlor. That would have been a good ending, but nevertheless, it was not a bad ending or something. I liked this. I had a very good title defense by Lawlor, and very good performance by Karl Fredericks, and very good main event. And this was a very good episode. And Tom Lawlor defeated Karl Fredericks, and he retained the championship, strong openweight championship. The second time, don't know who could be challenging. Maybe we could see John Moxley, but no, John Moxley's US championship. So after the match, Kratos and Lawlor celebrated in the ring. Lawlor picked Fredricks up, kind of. I actually thought about that. They are gonna just like maybe low blow or something they're going to be do, but Fredricks rejected the help at first, but reluctantly Kratos and Lawlor attack, reluctantly have the thumbs up, and then Lawlor actually attack Fredricks. Kratos actually also attacked the Fredricks to close out the show before Kojima made the save, and Kojima then says that he is the next challenger and he's going to whoop the ass, and that was good. And so Kojima versus Lawlor, this is going to be a great match, man. This is going to be a very clash of styles. I mean, a striker versus a fiery, fighting spirited guy who actually does all the things that he could do for defeat, and who could be in the deep down in the well, but he would be coming back in the top. That's the kind of story that Satoshi Kojima always tells in his matches. So this would be a very good match that would be coming. So very good episode of Strong, and very good matches, and I hope you like this review, and I highly recommend this episode. And please make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one, guys. Until then, be safe, stay energetic, peace.